All right. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is another episode of Embracing Brilliance with Dr. Kim. We are here on tonight. I want to make sure that you can hear me just fine. So you probably going to hear a little feedback. Yes, I think we good to go. All right. Yes. Okay, so I want to make sure your comments are coming in as well. Go ahead and say hello in the comments so that way our lovely friend known as the internet can know that this is an active live stream and we are sharing it. Hello to you all who are over on YouTube as well. We are multi-streaming here on tonight. So I got my water with me. And I'm gonna occasionally take a sip of that because I still got a little bit of a cough. So we're gonna work through that. We're gonna push through that as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome again. Welcome to the replay viewers as well. So let me start off by saying this. I have a YouTube channel, and yes, it is an effort of love. I am still growing and learning about that and understanding on how to share those things so I can reach you all and share great information with you about this. I'm really excited to talk to you about self doubt. Go ahead and share this. Thank you so much for sharing the live stream so others can see it as well. Join me on YouTube sometimes. Definitely go ahead and subscribe to the channel so that way you can keep up with the updates and you won't be missing out on anything. We got some exciting stuff coming up as well. But like I said, I am Dr. Kim of Align with Dr. Kim, where we heal from burnout and create balance so we can express our brilliance and embrace well-being as well. So you were made for more than just putting all your bills on auto pay, waiting for paydays, waiting for weekends, living from week to week, living from check to check, living from opportunity to opportunity. You were made for more than that, and it's time to embrace your brilliance. If you are here on tonight, the topic of self doubt is something that kind of struck a nerve with you. It struck a nerve, and it's okay. First off, I want to tell you congratulations if you've ever experienced self doubt, because it means you are on your self actualization journey. Self actualization means you're coming into the concept of who you are, you're coming into the concept and knowing what your full potential is. So, actually, those moments of self doubt that come forward is just everything tapping you on the shoulder saying, hey, you can do this. Hey, there's more in you. Hey, you got what it takes. So when we reframe our mindset and think about that, it helps us to step outside of our emotions. And we're going to talk about the emotional side of that. And hopefully you will hear some things on tonight that'll help you break out of it, that will help you decrease the lockup that you get from self-doubt, because it really can. I used to call it just dipping your toe in things. For me, it showed up as hesitation. For me, self-doubt looked like me not taking opportunities or hanging back because I didn't feel like I was prepared, or I felt like I had to look a certain way. Hint, hint, perfectionism. I'm calling you out. If you're an introverted person, you a woman of faith, or you a person of faith, and you know that God has more designed for you, you are going to hear something on tonight that is going to free you from those things. I am going to go ahead and just declare that right now. So I'm excited for you in this place as well. So I have some slides here to share with us on tonight. We are also going to share this over I'll have a full video over on my page as well. You can follow me at Align with Dr. Kim. In case those of you all who weren't able to watch it live, live is the best place to be because you get to chat in the comments. I answer your questions, and definitely we get to build community here as well on tonight. So, we're going to talk about the fact that you can break free from self-doubt. And it is something that everyone goes through when they're leveling up, when you are coming out of challenges, when you are in challenges, all of those things. I want to start off with a quote. And the quote that we have here says, "Nothing is scarier than avoiding your full potential. Nothing is scarier than avoiding your full potential." That that is a quote that literally grabbed me. So I was looking up information about self-doubt and definitely coming across the concept of your full potential and who you are. Like, that is what we want. We want everything that God has for us. Like, self being a person, instead of being filled with self-doubt, we want to be filled with self-love. That's our focus for this month, by the way. And self-love is more than just saying that you love yourself. Self-love is about identifying those internal barriers or blockages to self-love and embracing your full potential, embracing everything that God has for you, embracing the worthiness that God has for you as well. Hello, hey, Brother Spice. Thank you for joining the live. But embracing everything about you, accepting it, understanding your full potential, and going for those things is from a place of self love. And when you are on your journey of coming more into yourself and what everything that and understanding that God has more for you in life, you start to crave that more and more and more. And you actually get a little frustrated, a little dissatisfied, and you continue to have hope. You may, for you it may look like you're steady in spaces of encouragement, but you notice that you have not produced something. Well, you are a person, God has a seed planted on the inside of you, and that field has to produce crop, it has to grow. And so it's even up to us, it's our responsibility to steward that seed well, to nourish it, to take ourselves in for nourishment, and to make sure that we are producing things, that the things that are within us can fully be expressed and come out, especially the things that you are called to do and when you are walking in your purpose. So this is one of the first. Hey, how you doing, Derek? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the live. Thank you so much for sharing your comments and letting our good friend, the social medias, the internet, know that people are here and that this is a live. It'll share it out. So thank you all for making your comments as well. So nothing is scarier than avoiding your full potential. This made me think about, you know, and like I said earlier, for me, it was about it was showing up as hesitancy, and like I called it toe tipping around things instead of fully going into things. And I'm not realizing that I was being afraid of my full potential. And it is better to not, I won't say better because there's nothing great about fear at all. When we look at it from the aspect of we're avoiding our full potential, we are basically choosing dissatisfaction. We're choosing unfulfillment when we avoid that full potential versus let me be somebody that goes full on into my potential, to explore it, to see what it's about, and to also give myself the opportunity because I am worthy of everything that is meant for me. I am worthy of all the goodness and the greatness that God has for me, including doing those things. And I keep reiterating, the people who are frustrated and you were meant for more, self-doubt is something that you have to come out of, that you have to be stronger in. It's something that you have to overcome, and it's something that you have to understand. Hey, I am on my journey with those things. But yeah, if you're a journaling person and you thought about that and this made sense to you, definitely spend some time on it as well. I told y'all the coffee was gonna come. So I got my water as well. So excuse me. I'll try to mute that as much as I can. So let's talk about the blocks of self-love. Then we'll talk about some ways we can cultivate or grow our self-love. Because once you recognize a habit of something, you need to start replacing it with something new so you can break it. All things we once it's broken, it's gonna be replaced with something. Nature does not like a vacuum. Space will always be filled. That is just a principle of nature. So once you decide that, hey, I got to get rid of this, you got to instantly start replacing it with something else. So the barriers to self-love, understanding self-doubt is also understanding your triggers. These are some things coming up, these barriers that we're talking about. These are some things that will trigger and lead to your self-doubt. And I think that's one of the most empowering things is, number one, acknowledging, being aware that you have it. And then number two, well, let's go back, awareness. That's the main thing I want to talk about. The awareness that the conditions for self-doubt are around you, so that way you are empowered to do something about it, to start to change those things. So what are some barriers to that? Number one, let's talk about negative self-talk. Oh, and this is a big one. Negative self-talk can be insidious because it's basically in your thoughts. It's also in your words. That you hear it in other people and you may not even hear it in yourself. But how do you feel when you're around people who talk about themselves? And I've heard this from men and women, but more so from women. Oh God, I hate how these jeans look. Y'all please stand in front of me in this picture because they just do not like some things about their body. Or when people talk about their insecurities and it comes out as fussing or yelling, or people attacking other people out of fear because of some small insecurity that's within them that's causing them to act out and to show out. But when you see that in another person, it makes you feel kind of off, right? It almost makes you feel like, wow, why this person really is talking negative about themselves and they don't even know it. And it's a human thing to do. Now, yeah, there are some people who are trained and they were specifically taught growing up, you don't speak bad about yourself at all. And some people think that that's a given, but it's not. Our brains will highlight and amplify those things sometimes because some people just literally have a negative bias. It's a human thing. And when we start to pay attention to it, we can start to change it. But that's one of the blockers or the things that get in the way of us expressing self-love for ourselves. And that's also an alert, when you hear yourself talking, or even think about when your children are around you or younger people are around you who are learning from you. I say kids, but it could be anybody around you because we're all like sponges. We pick up things. You will notice that if you're in a negative environment, those things will start rubbing off on you. Hey, Dr. Omar, thanks for joining the live. Thank y'all so much for joining. Like I said, I am on YouTube. Make sure y'all like my YouTube channel. I know Brother Spice has also liked it. I've seen his like on there. Well, he is a subscriber. So I am excited. One of my subscribers is on the live with us. That is so cool. I think that is awesome. We are growing. So back to the blockages of self-love. What is getting in the way of us, or what is contributing to us just continuing in this negative status? Because self-doubt is from it's like a negative status. It's being in a low frequency place when you think like that, when you speak from that place as well. The next one is perfectionism. This is a huge one. Thinking that everything has to be a certain way will block you from your creativity. It will block you from all the good that God has for you. And we are in a space on tonight where we are giving ourselves permission to open up and receive and be ready for and say yes to all the good that God has for us. When was the last time somebody was around you that just said that just spoke that out loud? When was the last time that you said that hey, I give myself permission to receive everything that I say I want? Everything that I say I am looking forward to and would enjoy in life, whatever joy it is that God has for me, I'm saying yes to it. But yes, we are in that space on tonight. If you have not already given yourself permission for that, I'm giving you permission. If you can't even give yourself that permission for you to be open to the good that is coming to you as well. But the perfectionism, being in a space of understanding that you have perfectionistic tendencies. Everyone has standards, right? We all have our standards. But when those standards are basically an illusion, it's not something you can meet, it's unrealistic for anybody else to meet it, we cut out or we say no to the good that is coming for us because we're only open to one way. Is from a negative place. But when we're able to embrace the imperfection, we're able to connect better. We're able to be open to different ways of seeing the thing that we want and taking those opportunities. The fear of judgment. Oh my gosh. Everybody has an opinion. And really, we could trace fear of judgment, fear of what other people will say. What are you afraid that they'll say? You're afraid that they'll say something bad, that some embarrassment will happen, that they're going to avoid you or you're going to be abandoned. And that stems from a very rooted, deep place within us. There are so many things, y'all, that we can trace our behaviors back to what the fear really is. And we start, when we trace it back, we're studying that thing, we're analyzing so we can do something about it. This is how you become more empowered to change yourself from self getting out of self-doubt and going into self-love by recognizing the blockages and the barriers. We talk about the negative self-talk, the perfectionism, now the fear of judgment, overcoming the fear of what others think. You will stay locked up and not move, not take opportunities, or you'll be slow procrastinating going into things. And yes, this is something that hold a lot of people up. And let me know if this is something that you deal with as well with this. And also past hurts and traumas. This is also a large one that will keep us from loving ourselves well, loving ourselves adequately. You may not, for example, you may notice that you're always rushing through doing things for yourself, or you neglect yourself because you grew up in an environment where you never saw anyone that took care of themselves, or you saw people who spoke so negatively about other people who were resting, just resting. Having a negative mindset around resting is a quick way to get into burnout. You will never allow yourself to enjoy things. You will always be on the go and performing and chasing some invisible carrot around you. This is how deep it runs, y'all. And that was just an example. And you may be able to trace the history of certain types of childhood traumas or things that you saw in trauma. Remember, trauma is not what happened to you, but it's how it shaped you. Trauma is the event because, it's different for either person. Something that is traumatic that happened to me may not have been traumatic to you. It's all based upon our makeup, our worldview, all sorts of things. So many research tips about that I could give. We'll be on here all night, but we going forward with that. So, how do we start to build self love? I want to check in with y'all as well. Hey, good evening. Hello, hello. Thank y'all so much for coming. Derek said, yes, definitely. I deal with it. I'm working on myself day by day. That is a huge step, is to take it one day at a time so it won't be so overwhelming. That is definitely a way to heal. So shout out to you and anybody else who is in their healing phase from all of those things, of overcoming those barriers and the things that will drive you into a negative or a self-doubting space, right? So, what are the next things? How do we actually start building self love within ourselves? Because once we recognize those triggers and the things that bring us into self doubt, or when you recognize that you're operating in a place of self doubt at that moment, how can we turn it around? How can we choose to go another direction instead of going down that same street, getting those same responses? We want to make a different choice. We want to make an empowered choice on loving ourselves and being the example for that. So the first one is practicing self-compassion, being a little bit kinder to yourself and being understanding. Saying, hey, telling yourself, I understand that you have a little self-doubt about this. That's understandable. You've never done this before, or you've never had anyone to support you in this. And it's okay to move forward in it anyway. Being compassionate about yourself, being compassionate towards your experiences, even experiences in the past, things that still plague you and haunt you from the past. You can stop right now and start and just speak something from a place of compassion to yourself and tell yourself the words that you need to hear. Y'all, there's so many people out here who are just locked up. They won't go forward. They won't forgive. They won't stop doing certain things, or they're coping in some self harmful ways, all because they have not heard the words, I'm sorry, or they have not heard a compassionate, kind word from within themselves. They're seeking it from other people. But you are the sweetest voice and the sweetest gift that you can give to yourself. And that's one of the principles and the concepts of self love. And you always have access to that space at all times. And yes, in the beginning, it may not feel great, it may not feel right, but anything that you start that's well worth it. Yes, it's something new. Your body, your brain, your mind is going to try to fight it. But I am telling you, this is a practice and a gift that you already have within yourself that can help you move in a different direction, all by choosing to change your words, to tell yourself the things that you need to hear and to practice it over and over and over again. You have to practice becoming a person of self compassion. And that's what it's all about. Even when you mess up, you continuously give yourself another chance. You've given other people chances. Why not give yourself infinite chances? Because you can't run away from you, right? So, focusing on your strengths also, being a person that focuses on the things that you do well. I tell people, and one of the things that has helped me is making a success list. Making a success list means I am making a running list of all the things that I am proud of with myself. I'm making a running list of things that I was able to do, things that I accomplished, and I refer to this list anytime I notice that I'm in a space of doubting myself. And that's practicing it. You have to practice learning to focus on your strengths with those things. And yes, I talked about the negative bias. If you can't think of one single thing that you have done well and that you enjoyed, that's okay still. We're still going to allow room for it because you can still make another decision. This is another thing, and this is an uncommon thing. This kind of shocked me a little bit, but you make a failure resume. This is the other side of that, because some people They just need to unload all of these things. They give space and room for that because it needs to be heard. And you do this within yourself and you start to accept it. But when I say make a failure resume, what I mean is you list the things that didn't go so well in life. But by each one that you list, you got to put, this is what I learned. This is what I learned from it. And it has to be something that's helpful, something that's helpful that you learn from that situation. And the more you do that exercise and the more you go through that list, you'll start to understand, hey, I made it through each and every one of those things. Or you may look at it and say, hey, there are some deeper lessons that I learned that I didn't see from this before, because you are older and you've had more experience now. You've had a change of your worldview. You've had a change of beliefs in those things. But giving yourself the room to write that, that's a failure resume. I talked about the success list first for understanding on how to be compassionate towards yourself and refer to those things. There's also setting boundaries. Setting boundaries and also engaging in self-care practices that nourish your mind, your body, and your soul. So, setting boundaries. There are internal boundaries and there are boundaries with other people. So boundaries with yourself may look like, hey, when I catch myself in a space of self-doubt, if there's a thought, a word, or an action that I am doing, and you may go back and think about this, what are the things that I'm doing that makes me feel doubting of myself? When you get in those spaces and it's making you feel negative, it's making you feel doubtful about yourself, you start to interrupt yourself. You set a boundary and say, no, this is my limit. This is not going to be helpful for me right now. And you literally can interrupt your thought. People who are emotionally mature and emotionally intelligent also are emotionally flexible, meaning that you're not stuck in the same cycle of thoughts. Or you've learned that, hey, a thought can just pass by, just like a leaf or a feather in the wind. I don't have to grab it. I don't have to hold it. I don't have to play with it, because the more you start to look at it, the more it starts to magnify in your mind, and you will have missed out all of those other things that were for you. This is called missing out on the grace of the day. You have to count your blessings and look at the things that are for you. So, setting a boundary within, what does the external boundary look like? Also, I would recommend definitely for you to look at the people that are around you. If you are somebody that is breaking the habit of self-doubt, you are breaking those type of thoughts and behaviors, and you're moving into another elevated part of your life, you are realizing that, hey, I'm accepting myself more. I am becoming a person that embraces my authenticity. You don't need people around you that feed your doubt. You have to get away from people that are feeding your doubt. Some of y'all, you may not like this. You just notice that you're not in alignment with those people anymore because you have decided to believe in yourself. You've decided to accept yourself. And a lot of other people will have a problem with that version of you because it exposes their insecurities. A lot of people will have a problem with that version of you. And this is where boundaries come in. Hey, I communicate my boundary and I'm going to allow you to experience the consequences of that because I am concerned about myself and I am engaging in the self care practice of protecting my peace. I am reclaiming my time. All of those type of things. Derry said, absolutely. You're not your thoughts. You're the observer of your thoughts. That is so true. You get it. You totally get it. That's right. So self-care is not just bubbles and bonbons and baths and black men frolicking. Shout out to the frolic movement. I think y'all are just so special. I love it. But yeah, Self-care is also having hard conversations. Self-care is also removing yourself from places, people, and things that harm you. Self-care is also having the discipline to do the things that you say you're going to do. Those are all things that build self-love, and they are little things that help us get to where we are going. I think last week or one of my videos I talked about compounding, this idea of compounding is more than just a finance concept of where it snowballs and you build into things, but little bitty practices that you start practicing, it will start to change the way you think, and it'll change the outcomes that you get as well. All right, and I'm enjoying this. We breaking out of self-doubt tonight. We really are. We're breaking out of it. I hope this is enjoyable, and I'm making sure I'm reading y'all comments as well. So the last thing I wanted to talk about was embracing your authenticity. So yeah, once you start practicing self-love, you along with that, you have to accept yourself. And learning to embrace who you authentically are really helps you step more into your full potential. So I'm going to add this back to the stage. Embracing authenticity looks like letting go of the need to please other people, letting go of wanting to fit in into certain places. This is maturity. This is coming up on a different level. This is learning to embrace your individuality and who you are. Oh gosh, learning to do that can be a little intimidating. And I say that for me because there's the people pleasing uh part of ourselves that we die to with this. Um the old version of us, that self-doubting version of us that we come out of, used to have a need to please other people because they were identified by the thoughts and acceptance and praise of other people. But this next and new version of you, the now version of you that you're walking into, doesn't need that anymore because you are accepting of yourself, and your opinion trumps, goes higher than anybody else's judgment of you. You make the call on what you say is good, on what you say is enough, and you make the call where you're saying, "Hey, I am well with this. I am okay with me going here and doing that." It will even call for you to be okay with being in some places by yourself for a while and getting used to your own company, getting used to your own thoughts. And there are so many people where I know that is intimidating to just be in a place where it's you and your thoughts. But once again, that's where the self compassion and the practices of self love come in. And you learning how to manage your thought life in a way that brings a wealth to you. It's doing it in a way where it adds a richness to your life, where you're not following every thought and following every feeling and letting it define your life, letting it define what you do. You become a person that embraces that, hey, this is who I am, this is what I want, this is how I'm moving forward. And like I said, everybody, this is something that everybody goes through. And once again, I am still going to congratulate you if you've ever been in that space, because you may have a handle on doubt, and it may not plague you for a while. And then when you start doing new things, or when you move and go to a different area or something, it's like boom, it comes back up. And it's like, I thought I got rid of this. You did. It's just another challenge, and you're ready to meet it. If it approaches you, you are ready to meet it. The next thing is expressing your true self without the fear of judgment. We talked about that. And also living a life aligned with your values and your passions. What does living a life aligned with your values look like? It looks, one word for me, it looks like fulfillment. It looks like satisfaction. It looks like connection. It looks like complete enjoyment no matter who or what is around, and you are just excited within yourself, and you start to notice that the people that start to come around you, you start to attract a better environment. You actually let people in to support you. You actually seek out support, and you become a supporter of those things. You notice that those people have the same values that you do. You seek support from them, and you allow them to come in and seek support from you. You're supporting other people in those things that you believe are important and the things that you are truly passionate about. One of the other main ways that you can tell that you're living in alignment with your values, other than how you're feeling and the people that are around you, is when you sit in your reflection time. You are happy with the way things are going. You notice that you have attracted more joyful opportunities, and you are just excited about going forward in the things that you are doing. This is how you know you're in alignment with it. And that's also a hint into, I'm not in alignment with it. How can I work into those things? How can I step more fully into my potential with those things? And that's where being a student of yourself and always looking for ways that you can add love, making love like a theme of your life, letting it be an undercurrent of love in your life versus an undercurrent of doubt and disappointment and just all of this negative beliefs and chatter that goes on in the back of you. You need to be free from those things, and it is meant for you. I cannot tell you how many times I have I remember being in that space when it was just constant. Y'all, this is where depression and stuff will start to come in. And being in a depressive state of mind, all of those type of things, it takes time to rise out of that. And some people, yes, it's a daily struggle. And we are not making light of that or anything. But when we learn how to challenge those beliefs and we learn how to challenge those negative thoughts, it becomes empowering. And we seek out the support and we do all the things that we can do to let the love in, that our attention and our focus becomes more on that of love, and we start attracting more loving opportunities and more loving people. And it is something that you have to work at every single day to come out of those spaces. Yes, things may have happened to you. Yes, you may have had challenging experiences in the past, but now it's time to elevate and come above that. It really is. So y'all, I have really enjoyed that. Talking about breaking free from a place of self-doubt, because it is something that kind of cycles back around. And I won't say just to test you, it's just you are still stepping into another level of your full potential that you haven't explored yet. And it is so worthy of exploring. One question that I wanted to address is that I got was, as an introvert, how can I practice self-love without feeling selfish or withdrawn? Why is this important? To someone who thinks that practicing self-love will lead them to being more selfish, I would ask them, why do you think that this is only benefiting you when you practice self-love? When you practice self-love, it's basically you setting the foundation in your life for how you want other people to treat you. And it's also you deciding how you're letting other people in. As an introvert, yes, we can be withdrawn. And for those of you all who are like, I withdraw too much, I need to be in crowds, I need community. Shout out to you. Yes, we do need to be in community. That's where that self-compassion and the self-love comes in, when we let in other people who are loving, when we seek out these Facebook groups, when we seek out these mentor groups, these mastermind groups, when we seek out other friends who are moving and doing things, and we start to have intentional conversations about these things with people so we can invite those people in, we start to grow and we start to get invited into those spaces of deeper connection with people. And it starts to reflect that you are living in your values. You are in a space of healing. Therefore, you will attract other people who are healing as well and doing well. But yeah, it's not selfish to, and you won't be withdrawn if you are practicing from a true space of self-love. If you are operating from trying to have this perfect self-love and things like that, there's even no perfection with that. Perfection is an illusion, by the way. It's something that you practice in small increments, and you start to grow in it, and you explore it, and you learn it. There's no perfect view of it, and I don't want anyone to think that from tonight as well. This is why I always just try to give y'all tips and guide you along the way, because you basically are your own blueprint for how to do things and how to go there. And we seek out support from other coaches, therapists, other people who are experts in certain experiences and things like that, so we can understand, our next direction that we want to take, of course, in consideration with how God is leading us on that journey. But yes, I think that's all I have to say about that. Stay tuned. Those of you all who stayed to the end of this self love live, kudos, shout out to you. This is something that we're going to be talking about this month, and I will be sharing this on my channels as well. Because people need reminders, that as well. We have our self love clinic coming up again. I am excited about that. We have chosen the dates already. It's the last 3 days of the month. We will be releasing it soon, but we're going to be talking about more about this as well. We're going to go deeper into, what are some limiting beliefs that people go through and how to change that, how to come out of it. What's the roots of self-love? What are we going to do to diagnose things, and how are we going to manage and treat those things when we're helping ourselves in our healing journey, when we're connecting with other people in relationships? What role does self-love play in it? And even in our business, how are how is me practicing a deeper level of self-love going to help grow my business? We're going to answer all of those questions. We got some great experts lined up. They're excited to talk to y'all as well, but those will be coming. That's why I said make sure you subscribe to the channel. You can go to my website at Align with Dr. Kim so you can get on our email list about everything and pay attention on our social media handles. I would say our Instagram and our Facebook mainly. That's where the first place you will probably see it, and even in our stories, because I talk to y'all in the stories also, just in case you didn't know. But yeah, this has been exciting. Please be more compassionate and kind to yourself, and be understanding to yourself with this process. You are in a place of exploring your full potential. And isn't it great that you have the courage to explore their full potential versus avoiding it? Because you have already given yourself permission to the good that is coming for you. All right, we got a comment coming in. This was amazing. Derek said, "Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and insight. It's a confirmation that I'm on the right path." I love it. Woohoo! Shout out to you. I love that. I am glad you are on your journey. Yes, you are coming up and you are coming out. I'm excited about that. I will be back again. So far, Mondays are a great time. So I will be back again on Mondays. And in the meantime, continue to embrace your brilliance. Have a good night.